Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 631 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles. The band's back together. Stephen Kyle Brackey, Oliver the Bear Astone, and our favorite dude wiper, Ben Askren. Ben, what's up, man?
I'm having a great morning. I got in the steam room this morning. Let me think. What else? Nothing else going on. I'm going to train after this, and then I got a pretty easy day.
Okay, well, glad to hear you're going to have an easy day. We had a great couple days in Fort Worth, Texas, watching the Olympic trials. We have our team. We have our Olympic squad. We've got a few more weights to qualify. They're going to get that done. But I think we have to start with the story that really dominated the trials, which was J'den Cox. And it's not fun to think about, but it's just the facts that, it happened, and there's a lot to kind of unpack and digest.
Sucked.
Yeah, it sucks, truly. And so if you don't know, we know you know, but J'den Cox
you have to know.
Did not make weight on time for the Olympic trials. And as we've kind of rewound the tape and tried to figure out what happened, J'den has said that Coach Jackson told him the wrong time for weigh-ins. And so they were there at the wrong time. They made weight. It was something that J'den got there around 7:20, 7:25, and then kind of soon after realized, hey, weigh-ins are going on now. I've got to get down. And, began his cutting hard, and then stepped on the scale like 8:04, 8:05, was still over. At 8:13 he made it, but of course weigh-ins were closed by 8 o'clock and announced as such. And really just it's so much is unbelievable about that. I mean, it's just so, that something like this would happen, that it would happen to someone as good as J'den Cox. And a story that's not really being discussed or really known is that similarly, Tamira Mensah-Stock almost missed weigh-ins separately. She made it by 5 minutes, and this was not a weight cut situation. She was late to the area. She was very upset in the weigh-in area. Coach Steiner and her, was not pleased with her being so late. So we had a world champion in Tamira. We got a two-time world champion. One didn't know the weigh-in times. The other one was just simply late.
Well, someone told me they were together, Christian. Is that not true?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Somebody told me that they were traveling together. I'm not sure about that. Man, it sucks. I see both sides of it.
No, you don't.
I do. I genuinely do. I really do. There's obviously the one crowd that says, hey, it's 13 minutes. We're talking about an Olympic team here. Is it really that big of a deal? And that, to me, that makes sense, right? There's it's only 13 minutes. Now, obviously, if you extrapolate that, well, what about 14 minutes? What about 15 minutes? What about 16 minutes? You could go on forever. Because if 13 minutes is right, then 14 is, and 15 is, and 16 is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then the other side says, hey, dude, this is weigh-in time. Show up at the weigh-in time. It's not all that hard. And then you get to wrestle. And so, no, I do see both sides of it. I really genuinely do. And I think depending on how you feel about rules and order and organization, there are some people who are completely outraged on both sides.
Yeah, I honestly, listen, this is coming from someone that I picked J'den to make it. I had hoped J'den would make the team. I feel like he's our best shot to beat Sadulayev. It's kind of, knowing how I feel about J'den. I think he's awesome. And nothing against Kyle. Kyle's the man. But I can't be genuine and say I think any sort of exception should be made in this situation. I just can't see it.
Yeah, you're a rules guy though, Christian.
No,
you're a rules guy, so it makes it. You are. It's okay. I mean, we all.
What do you mean rule? What do you mean rules guy? I mean, that's not rules guy to think. This is a part of the competition. Listen, this is part of the.
That's what I'm saying. See how passionately you love the rules? It's fine. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. You like order.
What do you mean? No, it's not about order. This is not some
Ben, he didn't make weight.
This is not
That's what it's about. He didn't make weight. He knew the weigh-in time, and he didn't make weight.
Yeah, this is not some
guys. There's two different brains, don't you? I mean, you guys got to realize people process things differently, and there are two types of brains, and they're as passionately as you're saying what you're saying. there's people saying the other side. And all I'm saying is I see both perspectives, and I think it really just it depends on the way you think about rules, order, organization.
Ben's got both brains, I guess. I mean,
you know what I've done? I've had to think about the way people think about things because I realize I'm a little bit different. So I'm constantly thinking about how do other people think about things.
Right. Well, I mean, I just can't see any scenario. One, you just allow weigh-ins indefinitely? Is that? I mean, I don't understand.
Well, I mean, just think about this. Think about this. Here's what I'm saying. It's like think about is 13 minutes really all that big of a deal when we're trying to pick the best Olympic team? Is it really? It's 13 minutes, Christian. He's on weight, and then if you want to even go beyond that, it's like this is a guy who we're not even worried about him making this weight class. It's like the weigh-in is perfunctory to him making 97 kilos. He was an 86 guy. He was 24 pounds below or whatever. It's not really a big deal for him. And so, like, there's that side that says, well, everyone knows he's not a big 213. Matter of fact, on this program, we talked about all kinds of guys who would struggle with their weight because there's only 6 weight classes. Jaden Cox wasn't one of them. None of us were worried about that issue. None of us.
Yeah, I think that's totally immaterial to the entire discussion. I don't think that matters at all. And the fact it's not like he was on weight at 8 o'clock. He wasn't. So there's some element of a weight cut involved. Otherwise, he would have hopped on the scale at 96.9 then, right?
Yeah.
And I don't like bringing that up, but I think one, there's a couple things. What sort of extenuating circumstance they wanted USA Wrestling to utilize, especially now? Basically, once the semis happened, there's nothing you can do anything now. Because, he got to wrestle Ben Honus and then Colin Moore? Why would they wrestle him? Just so he can get to Kyle Snyder? And you can't skip to the end and say, okay, hey, you're in to wrestle Kyle Snyder. The way I look at it is it's a part of the qualification for the tournament. It's a part of how you get into the event, right? It's part of it. And there's time. Everyone else knew the time and got there on time. And I can understand why. Listen, J'den is different, man, and that's what makes him special. His mind is different. I think that's what makes him a really special wrestler.
Yeah.
And the fact that he sort of outsources, like, listen, I have Coach Jackson to like handle my logistics. He's my coach. He tells me where to be and when, and I'm there. I understand that, and that makes sense to me. And that I think that works for J'den. But there is an element of you've got to kind of know the date and time, and the same reason I would never miss the weigh-in time ever. Well, part of that, I feel like part of J'den's thing is he is kind of a creative. He's kind of a free spirit, and he's not thinking about that. He's thinking differently, right? And I think that's part of what.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and I'll give you an example of where I messed up, Christian. So, for example, because listen, there's rules at everything. Obviously, some rules are taken more seriously because of the circumstances tied to them. But like last fall, USA Wrestling changed this rule on the coaches' passes where you had to do them online beforehand, right? And I didn't. It was a new rule. Didn't read it because sometimes I kind of skip over stuff also. And then I had to say, hey, man, we're bringing like 70 guys to the tournament. Can I have a few coaches' passes, please? I did not realize this was a new rule. And they said, hey, no problem. Right? So, I mean, there's a – what?
They shouldn't have done that. They should have kept rules. It's setting a bad example for your kids. Now they think they could just go through life not signing up.
The kids didn't know because I emailed Ollie, so it wasn't in front of the kids, obviously.
Okay, well, now they do.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm admitting to. I mean, it's just one of these things where, we have rules, obviously, and yes, rules are good, absolutely. That's why I see that perspective. Like, I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying, like, dude, I see how. I mean, did you see some of the tweets? I mean, some people were so mad about the 13 minutes. They said, who gives a damn? And I get their perspective. I see what they're saying, and then kind of almost. If I really look from the top down at it, I think like, shit, we need our best Olympic team. We're trying to go win the Olympics. And I don't know who's better, J'den or Kyle. I'm not really sure at this point.
Yeah.
Because Kyle looked great. But I would like to see him, number one, I'd like to see him wrestle. And number two, I don't give a damn about 13 minutes. I want the best Olympic team out there. That's what I want.
What do you think happens at the Olympic Games if we're 13 minutes late?
Oh, probably give them a couple $1,000 and they're good.
No, you're out. You are 100% out. They are not. Are you kidding me? You think they're making an exception?
I'm sure Russia's been late before. I'm sure they've been late.
And maybe they have.
Russia probably pulls a gun or something.
Listen.
Yeah, hey, Ross Patton said, what would Russia have done if Sajalayev?
Why do we want to compare ourselves to Russia?
Yeah.
It's a scumbag,
I'm just saying there's
cheating
different ways
nation.
people think about things. You really think?
They're literally.
You really think?
They're cheaters. Why do we want to be them? Why do we want to be them?
And you know what?
I'm not saying we want to be them.
I'll give Russia credit.
Kick Sajalayev out.
They say beforehand, this is our process. We're doing it like this. And at this weight, we're not having a trials. And at this weight, we are. And at this weight, if this person wins, he's going. And if this person wins, well, we'll send him to Euros and then we'll see. Like, they're like, yeah. I mean, it's kind of known that you win the trials. It's not, doesn't guarantee you anything. And nothing was guaranteed for, J'den either, or Kyle Snyder, right? This was our process. Our process is we have a trials. It's set up this way. You make weight at this time. You win your matches, and you're on the team. That's how we do it. I like the way we do it, and I don't think this is a scenario where you make exceptions. And I want listen. Everyone knows. I've said it. I want J'den to win, right? But I don't see any scenario where it's not. And I don't think it's because I'm a rules guy. It's like I'm a wrestling person. It's like this is how wrestling. This is how wrestling been.
Since you're in youth wrestling, you know the weigh-in time. You're not there. You don't wrestle. Middle school, high school, college, all of it.
No, listen. There's been a few times where I've had some knuckleheads who showed up late, and I just had to say, "Come on, man. My guy came all the way from X, Y, or Z." Come on.
They're not doing it at that. They wouldn't do that at cadets. They wouldn't do that at juniors.
I've never seen that.
You know it.
And you know the weigh-in time.
Cadet Nationals, probably not, no.
No. Cadet Nationals, the time is the time is the time. And if you're not there,
you're not there.
You're not there. And it's fine, but you don't get to just be like, well, I'll make weight at this point in time. And it's a shame that, and here's the case for J'den. The case for J'den's wrestle-off is this.
There's no more wrestle. I mean, I agree with what you said about, hey, he had to be in the tournament. The tournament's done. He can't go back in anymore.
Yeah. Here's the case, though. Because there's a case being made, and here's what it is. A USA Wrestling employee told J'den Cox weigh-ins are at this time. Now, why said employee, who has been at umpteen UWW tournaments, who always knows it's a 2-hour weigh-in, why he would have thought they were from 8 to 8:30 is totally beyond me, right? And now for J'den to not know that, hey, the tournament doesn't start at 10:30, it starts at 10. Well, I can understand why he wouldn't know that because he wasn't wrestling till 6:30 anyways. He knows he's not wrestling in that morning session, so for all he knows, wrestling did start at 10:30. But of course it didn't. It started at 10. That's not, maybe you could say J'den should know that. Yeah, maybe. But his coach should definitely know it, and he didn't. And if I'm USA Wrestling, I'm kind of looking at this whole scenario like we need some sort of safeguards for some of our elite athletes, right?
Yeah.
We can't have Tamira Mensah-Stock making it by 5 minutes. We need, maybe with some athletes, they need an extra level of, I don't know what it is, guardianship or whatever, or someone to be like, hey.
That's a coach, but that's also the coach knowing the athlete, and that's the athlete having. And you are right. Like Russia would never let Sajalayev not wrestle because he was 10 minutes late. So you're right on that. But I know there's certain athletes I have where, man, like I better text them a couple times ahead of time because they're kind of a little bit flaky and they're going to need a little bit extra reminder to show up on time. I've definitely done that with certain athletes because I know what they're all about. And
here's the other. There's some horrible takes circulating. It was a terrible take, conveyor belt. But the idea that USA Wrestling in any way wants this or wants Snyder on the team and didn't want J'den in there is preposterous on every single level. Yeah, this is like the worst thing that could have happened for them. One, you lose There's two major marquee matches that had nationwide appeal. And it was Dake Burroughs and it was J'den versus Snyder. It is good for USA Wrestling for those matches to happen, just in general, for the potential, the TV ratings boost, et cetera, and so on down the line. One. Two, they want the best guys there. So there's no scenario where they're going to be like, well, we would prefer Kyle. They would prefer them to wrestle and find out.
Yes.
Because it's a total, and if anything, they've been at those camps, and the word on the street is J'den gets the better of Kyle in those matches, okay? For whatever it's worth, for matches that don't mean anything other than the won a practice match, that's the scenario. So the idea that USA is wants to protect Kyle or help Kyle or prevent J'den, that goes against all of USA Wrestling's interest for this to happen. So
yeah, that's dumb.
People that are throwing USA under the bus, I just think it's a total, you're just ignoring, you're just not being accountable or understanding of their scenario, or you're just looking for someone to be mad at because you're mad you didn't get to see J'den and Kyle wrestle, which I'm mad about it too. I think it stinks, but I'm not gonna blame USA Wrestling, who probably more than anyone wanted the match to happen.
The thing that gets me is if USA Wrestling had allowed him in, do you not think that all the other wrestlers are gonna take this to arbitration?
Yeah, I lose
because they absolutely would, and they would probably, and USA Wrestling would probably lose, and because they didn't follow the rules that are in their procedures, and then you're looking at a Yanni Zane type thing again, where you have to re-wrestle an entire bracket.
Yeah, imagine the scenario. Imagine he beats whoever he would have had in the semis, then he beats Colin Moore, then he beats Snyder 2 out of 3. All of those people would have an equal claim that I should not have even had to wrestle this guy because he didn't have to follow the rules. But USA, you made an exception because he's really good. So the exact opposite of the thing they wanted to happen was happening. So you're saying, conspiracy theorists, USA did this because they want Kyle on the team. Well, the exact opposite would be true, in fact, if they had allowed J'den into the thing. So, you're a little inconsistent there. And
yeah. Hey, I didn't know Kyle was such a rules guy. I knew you were Christian, but
I'm not.
It's not a rules guy.
Hold on.
You guys love rules.
No, it's bullshit. You weren't on weight when it started. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not gonna make. I don't care if it was Sean Russell or J'den Cox or Kyle Snyder or Jordan Burroughs or Kyle Dake. You didn't make weight. You don't wrestle. That's what it is.
That's rule. Yeah, you love the rules. It's great. No.
Listen,
you guys think I'm putting you down. I'm not putting you down. I'm just making it
that's what you have to do to wrestle. That's what you have to do to wrestle. That is the first. But that's the first step. I don't understand how you.
And don't act like. Don't be cute. Don't act like it's some backhand. Like it's not some backhanded. Oh, you're a rules guy. No, you know it. You know exactly what you're saying.
They are kind of rules guys.
Some people are just rules people. Some people love the freaking rules.
No, I don't love the rules.
CP's a big rules guy.
Thank you.
But if this was a non-Missouri guy, would you be sitting there saying that you can see his argument that he should get a special wrestle off? I don't know that you would.
Guy. It genuinely doesn't.
If this was Sean Russell, would you be arguing that?
Listen, it's not about who it is at all. It's about are they really knocking out?
Yeah. You wouldn't care if it was the 7th seed in a bracket.
Yeah. No one would care. No one would care. Obviously, if it was like the 7th or 8th seed, no one would really care. But I think that the point I'm trying to bring up, which I've said before, is that are we really going to not have our best possible big team over 13 minutes? Is that really? Are we really talking about 13 minutes?
Yeah.
And I see what you guys are saying. I'm just saying I also see the other side.
Well, what side are you on?
What about this? Let me ask you more about
fence sitting.
Fence sitting. I see everything from my tall tower of righteousness.
Let me ask you. Let's say Christian put this house up for sale, okay? And they say all offers in by 5 o'clock. Because actually, my wife just did this last night. All offers in by 5 o'clock, okay? And Christian's sitting down reviewing offers 5:04.
This is already
terrible.
And
all of a sudden 5:13, the best offer comes in. No. Let's see. They got no inspection, contingency. They got no appraisal. Are you gonna say, nah, wasn't in by 5? I'll throw this $20,000 in the garbage. Is that what you're going to say, Christian?
That's not a rule. There's no rule that
That
says...
is a rule. If you
No,
said
it's
it's in my 5, we're talking about times. You said
No.
you like the rules. If it's in my 5, are you going to take the $20,000 or not?
You said
didn't say that.
You said I like the rules.
Yeah,
One,
you do.
2. It's not a rule that there's no rule in real estate. If I say by 5 and I get it off for 5, I'm just that's just the approximate deadline I'm putting in. That's a terrible.
What if you
argument.
say it's a deadline? What if you say it's a deadline?
Oh, you just call it something different?
I don't know.
The same
Also,
thing.
multiple people keep talking about Jordan Burroughs getting extra time at Final X Lincoln.
No, he didn't.
I was in the room the entire time. He got a half hour.
He waited because here's what happens.
I heard people say he didn't make weight though.
Here's what happens with those weigh-ins. Okay, at 7:30, which is the example here, everyone makes weight, but you have till 8. But everyone's making weight right at the time because you get
They're
basically
ready
an
to
extra
eat and drink. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan was over. He went up, cut weight, came back down within the half hour. Okay.
He didn't get extra time. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You weren't there.
You're wrong.
We live streamed the whole thing too.
Yeah. You have a half hour. There's a half hour window in which you can make it. Okay, 7 to 7:30 was the example in this. So in this example, Jordan made it before 8 o'clock. All right, but with J'den, it was a different scenario. So, where did you fall? Never mind. I'm not even gonna freaking open this.
Go,
can of
let's
worms.
go. Come on, Christian.
Real Buto Miller. Where was that rules guy? I'm the rules guy. I said they should have said the guy that Ian Miller should have won. That's not according to the rules. Because according to the rules according to those rules, Brian Real Buto has to be the winner no matter what. Because his hand was raised. I don't agree with that.
Well, I agree with you.
Okay. Well, I thought I was a rules guy.
You are a rules guy.
So a bunch of people are asking, why did they allow him to step on the scale?
Okay,
this was 8:04.
This is not listen. All right,
that is a good question.
The
best argument they have is that Kevin Jackson is a USA Wrestling employee who told him the time. Now, if he has this in a text message or an email, it would actually you could probably use it. If it was just like talking,
all right. So here's the thing.
It's not gonna go anywhere.
All right. Here's the thing with the scale. Listen, the scales are set up. They're just there. Okay. Coach Jackson and J'den getting by people and just stepping on the scale doesn't mean they did it there's any process. They announced at 8 o'clock, weigh-ins are done. Okay. There's nothing prohibiting. They don't have armed guards preventing people from stepping on scales and weighing the right amount. So it's not like USA was like, this is good, you can weigh in. They got on the scales and people saw that he made weight and he was not overweight. So it's not like they said, yeah, come on in, J'den and Coach Jackson. Coach Jackson kind of bulled his way through there and got him to step on the scale. So it's not like they're saying this is fine. So it's not exactly what that seemed like it was. So very unfortunate situation, but what are you gonna?
There's also people trying to claim that Jordan wore Tamir Mentz's stock for the weigh-in. He didn't. He wore his at first he had his singlet on that he was gonna wear that night at Final X. And then he had his singlet from London. It's literally said Burroughs on it that he went into. So you people continue to have no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, just stop. Okay, but we're
so how
happy.
soon are we going to know if there's some kind of appeal? I mean, I agree with you, Christian, that now that the tournament's over, it's not like you can put him back in the semis and go from there. That'd be a disaster. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, I kind of feel similarly about Nick Soriano. It's like, sucks he doesn't have a chance because he had a positive test. But the Olympic trials are when the Olympic trials are. And maybe if he was the finalist, you could have sat him a couple more weeks. But since he's in the tournament, he's just screwed.
Yes, he is. And that was super unfortunate as well, with him not being in. And, man, it's just a story of the Olympic trials was who wasn't there. No Spencer, no Soriano, no J'den Cox.
Yes.
Unfortunate. Now, I feel like we're going to be circling back to J'den for, throughout the show.
We'll just get it all out.
Well, I'm not sure I have anything at the top of my mind right now. But I'm sure it'll come to me. We can talk about it more. And I'm sure there'll be more terrible takes in Facebook that we'll need to bat back, and that's okay as well. But I think the second biggest story out of this was Kyle Dake dethroning Jordan Burroughs from the 74-kilogram spot, a spot that Jordan had held since 2011. And, you watch, I picked Jordan, and you watch Dake through that challenge tournament, and it was I felt like that performance turned the tide, and I think a lot of people were like, this is probably going to be it. And then after the first match, it was just Dake was just he just seemed undeniable. I think that's the word. He just was not going to be denied throughout the trials process. And, he really left no doubt that he was the better man that day than Jordan Burroughs, and that this is his time.
One thing that I think is really interesting, Christian, is I think Jordan Burroughs would have been served from wrestling Kyle Dake, and that was something he didn't want to do. Right? We were trying to do it on Flow. Kyle Dake has gotten so much better. We can't play the film, can we?
No.
Damn it. He's gotten so good at getting into that chest wrap position.
Yeah.
The one time, I want to say it's the end of the first match, second period, Burroughs hit him with a beautiful double leg, and somehow Dake scooted his hips back, slipped around, and ended up heading the middle again for Burroughs. Mm-hmm. And it was like, holy crap, how did he get there that quickly? And then once he got there, Burroughs wasn't even messing around, because once he got there, Burroughs was like, yeah, I'm not going to try anything from here, because if I try something, I'm going to get tossed for 2 and/or 4. It was freaking impressive.
So I have sort of I've been thinking about those scenarios a lot, because that's basically all the match was. Mm-hmm. It was
correct.
Jordan on the legs, Dake either countering or stopping him. And I felt like early, I thought Jordan seemed more tentative as it went on, and he stopped. I felt like there's one, I'm not sure if it's the same one, it just ended up being stalemated. But he got in so deep on both legs, but it seemed like he just kind of stopped, and it was almost.
Yeah, because
I think he was too respectful of the position. I know, but at some point you can't just stop every time you get in. It's like, all right, let me see if I can finish.
So you can't, and you also have to, because if you don't, you're going to give up more points, right? And then it's a worse scenario. Mm-hmm. So, but you kind of have to, because so you hang up for the stalemate, you keep the score where it is, and then you take another shot once you get into the neutral position. But right. Once he was in that spot, it was a losing battle. He wasn't going to score from there.
Yeah,
and that's something I don't think we've ever seen. Dake's definitely gotten better there, more unique with his feel, and I don't think we've seen that in a previous Burroughs Dake match.
Well, of course he had the Epic 4 in their match 1 series at Lincoln. That was but then Jordan was able to kind of navigate around that for the most part. And Kyle has always had success countering Jordan, right? He's always a degree of success. Not correct. It wasn't enough, but he'd always been able to do it. And now it's a little different. And it's clear that, and I wonder, I firmly believe Kyle's going to win Olympic gold. I really feel pretty strongly about it. So
I feel like a lot of people are saying that they do not think he's the favorite over Sidakov. I don't know. I feel like he is.
I think he matches up great against Sidakov. I think he's going to be fine. And he's my pick. I would have probably said Jordan I think is going to win, but he's beaten Chamizo. I just think, and also I love that this is going to be their first time feeling him. I mean, a guy. Yeah. One thing that I like about Jordan and I like about Kyle is they have an irreplicable feel. Like there was no replicating what Jordan Burroughs did at the height of his powers, and there's no replicating what Kyle Dake does in his feel. And the single leg he had up around the body and bombing him up to what he can do when you're on his leg. No one really does that. There's no one. Yeah. There's some creative guys on their legs, but no one has the threat that Kyle Dake has. And
I would a little bit. I would say there's other people who are good at certain parts of what he does, But the way he puts it all together between just his baseline defense is immaculate also. And then when you get to his legs, you also have the threat. And most people are like usually one or the other, right? Either they have great baseline defense, but if you can get to him, you're I don't want to say good, but you're better. And then some people are really threatening once you get in. He offers both threats.
Right.
For sure.
For sure. So, I mean, there's obviously the questions about Jordan's future immediately come up, and he, immediately says, I'm not done, which he, getting a camera in his face and a mic in his hand immediately after loss. He was the only guy that I saw that did that, right? And I don't know if it's because they asked him to.
It had to be at the request of NBC, though, correct?
Yeah, perhaps.
NBC said we want to interview you. I don't know why he wouldn't go 79 and wrestle in Oslo. It's got to make sense for him because Dake's gonna say he wants to wrestle in both. You got to assume.
He's already said that.
Who could beat Jordan at 79?
Nobody. I don't think.
Nobody. So why wouldn't he go up and wrestle there?
I think he should. I think he should. And here's the thing: if you don't know this, if Dake medals at the Olympics, he is automatically on the team at 74. Okay, so
they have to medal. I thought it was if they were on the team, they could say, "I want to be on the next team." No?
I'm pretty sure
he has to medal. I'll try to confirm that.
We looked it up right before, and he has to medal.
That's kind of crazy because, man, I just looked at the USA Wrestling events calendar, and they don't even have the I don't even know what we call it. It would be the World Team Trials, I guess.
Yeah.
They do not have the World Team Trials up. Because that event, I was just on the UWW calendar. The World Championships is October 2 through 10, and the Olympics is August 1 through 7. And so, if you're going to say go to the Olympics, wrestle, train for that, focus on that, and then you need to come back. I mean, even if they had the World Team Trials 1 month later, right? So the guys could take a week off for training in the Olympics. That's still less than a month from the Worlds again, right? The turnaround would be so quick between those events.
Yeah, very quick. Very quick.
It could be insane.
Yeah, I agree.
So the 2020 Tokyo Olympic medals, if competing at the same weight, will receive the automatic selection to the 2021 World Team at that same weight.
Medalists.
Wow, that's gonna be tough for anyone who goes to the Olympics and does not medal. That turnaround then to make the next team, because you got to think. Okay, someone like Burroughs, and maybe it won't make sense for him because maybe he's moving. Maybe he'll start getting bigger for 79.
Mm-hmm.
But right, they can take a month off right now or whatever. Right, they can kick back for just a tiny bit, and then they can start gearing up for whenever they set that World Team Trials at, which is going to probably be between 2 weeks and 4 weeks after the Olympics. So for someone to lose at the Olympics in Japan and then turn around and wrestle at a World Team Trials a couple weeks later, that's not an ideal scenario for them.
So thinking about Jordan's weight, I agree. He needs to go. I think he should go 79 for a variety of reasons. One, I think he looks like a different guy down. And this guy lost to David Taylor 4-4. David Taylor was untouched. Okay, he dominated. Going through a bracket, no problem. And you think about the Zahid match, he looked like he had a little more pop there. I think he's gonna be better. I thought he looked different and skinnier than usual down at 74. I didn't think he looked quite as physically put together. I think the cut just takes a little more out of him than maybe it used to. Plus, he's aging, right? Finally,
well, it's a different weigh-in though, Christian, than he dealt with his whole life.
Exactly right, and that's a great point as well, that he's not day before weigh-ins anymore. It's 2 hours. And even though for him it wasn't 2 hours because he got to sit all day, he had to make weight twice.
Yeah, I was thinking about that sucks. Like, I don't think I've ever had to do that without some form of competition in the middle. And obviously it would be talking about college wrestling. Like, what would you do? Would you make weight Saturday or Friday morning, and then would you like just try to do nothing and eat nothing and drink nothing and just right? Or would you like get say 4 or 5 pounds back on and then sweat it off again the next morning? Like, both of those scenarios are not ideal, especially, if I think about like myself making 74 kilos, which is really hard, dude, I would have been freaking miserable.
Yeah, I'm sure it was not fun. I don't think it makes sense to stay lean all that time for like basically a day straight. I think that's
a long time.
That has a lot of adverse effects too.
Yes.
Even though you don't have to do another workout, just depriving your body of water for that long and depriving it of food for that long.
Yes,
that's going to have impact. So I believe that it would be great if J'den went up to 79. I think he makes that team. He can add to his legacy, win some world titles, and Dake's gonna hold down this spot. It's gonna be tough to get it back because now I believe Dake's gonna medal every year, and I think he's gonna be sitting out.
Next Olympics, Jordan's 36, 35.
No, not that old. Is he
yes,
that
he
old?
is.
He's 32?
2024. Yeah, so he's 35.
32, so he'll be 35. I'm 35. I'm at the height of my powers, Ben. I think I'll be fine.
Powers. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I want
to talk about we talking about Gable. Are we talking about Gable next? Because that's who we should probably talk about.
We should talk about Gable.
Dude, he's so ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
That's pretty much all you got to say on this.
I mean, he just killed Nick Gwiazdowski. Gwiazdowski has been a top 6 guy in the world for quite a while now, and
since 17.
So it's 4 years. He just beat him down. Just gave him the business the whole time.
Nothing but business. It was business time. He's so much. It was crazy because Kirkfleet beats Mason, and you're like, oh, interesting. And then he just destroys Kirkfleet.
Destroyed him.
And then he 10-0s Gwiz no problem in match 1. And you're like, this is the spot is his. He's 20 years old. He's 20. And it'd be terrible if we lost. If he hung it up after the Olympics. I hope he doesn't. I believe he's going to at least come back to Minnesota next year to finish his degree. That seems to be,
Man, I think he should go right from Olympic gold to WrestleMania.
Oh gosh, you have.
What do you mean?
Ideas.
Oh gosh.
Who cares about?
I'm looking out for Gable's. Listen, I'm not looking out for my interest. I'm not looking out for your interest. I'm looking out for Gable's best interest. This man is a superstar. He could go spend 5 years in the WWE and make a couple $1 million, and then he could be 25. And if he wants, he can make the transition to UFC. At which point he'll be a global superstar. He could demand very much money per fight, and then he could be retired by age of 30, and he could go coach wrestling or do whatever the hell he wants to do.
Well, okay, why not wrestle a couple more years? The WWE will always be there. Make your millions in the
heat off. You go straight from Olympic gold, like the height of. It's the best thing you can achieve in amateur wrestling. The height of amateur wrestling.
More people will watch him
at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I kind of love it. I'm sold on it. I'm gonna watch him at WrestleMania this year.
Listen,
I'm in.
Ollie's in.
Yeah, I'm talking from a place of selfishness. I haven't watched wrestling.
Well, from a place of selfishness, now you can enjoy WrestleMania.
I won't watch. I won't watch WrestleMania.
Not even if Gable's in.
No.
Why?
There's been other wrestlers. Brock Lesnar was a wrestler and stuff. I never watched. I don't care because I don't care.
Are gonna watch.
Y'all can watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Gable. I might try to be his manager or something because he
help
doesn't
you
talk
out with
about
streaming
trash. He's got the backflip. He's got the persona. But listen, maybe I'd be in his corner talking a little trash because that's my forte.
You're gonna be like the mouth of the South over here.
Like Flavor Flav.
Imagine Gable coming off the top rope with the backflip, though. That'd be awesome.
Oh my god!
Man. See,
for real, the things he can do athletically are amazing. But yeah, Christian, listen, he could demand such a gigantic contract at the age of 20 going to WWE, and I'm sure he's got some advisement from Brock Lesnar, who I know. I don't know that they're friends, but they're probably acquaintances. And I know this is probably not great for wrestling, but guess what? If Gable leaves, we got a few good guys left. We got Mason Parris. He's going to wrestle. He could go get a world medal or two.
And maybe he could help bring exposure.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool.
Jimmy Hart. That's right.
CP's out, fully out.
Yeah. No, I want to watch him
CP is so pissed.
I mean,
Rules guy CP all out.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything comes back to me like in rules. I like wrestling, real wrestling. I want him to do that. Not forever, but maybe a couple of years on the scene. I don't know. I don't think I'm asking a ton. He hasn't even. This is his first senior level world team. Make a couple, win a couple, and then go.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go win an Olympic gold medal. I mean, after watching what he did to Gwiazdowski, I know Akul and Petriashvili. I know they're really good. They're really, really, really good. But Gable's gonna beat him. He's gonna beat him.
He's winning.
Yes, he's gonna win. They're gonna shoot, and he's gonna hit a down block go behind, hit a down block reattack. He's so good. He's so good to the leg. He's powerful now when he gets in there. Man. Wow, Gwiz just had nothing for him because it wasn't like we're not like wow Gwiz sucks. It was just like oh my god, Gable's so good.
There's no option for victory there. He was ridiculous. I mean, he was truly ridiculous. It's funny because I want to put him up there with every heavyweight America's had, and he hasn't even won a senior level medal. But you just watch it, and it's so different. It just doesn't look like any other heavyweight I've seen. It does. That's not what Stephen Neal looked like in the videos I've seen. That's not what Mako or the other great heavyweights look like when I've seen them. They didn't look like that. Even Tervel, as great as Tervel was, as slick as Tervel was, it just didn't look like it looked with Gable.
Yeah, I would be. The Mako one is the one that interests me the most because. One of the things you don't want to do against Gable is shoot because that generally ends up in you getting scored on. Mm-hmm. And Mako obviously didn't use a lot of leg attacks, and he was also short and could keep really good position. And so that would be the one that would probably interest me the most of that group. Stephen Neal obviously would be interesting because of his size and his ability to blast through people. And I know you're saying he has no senior level world medals, but in all fairness, he's 20 years old. Yeah. Last year was canceled. So as a 19-year-old, he didn't have an option. And the year before that, he was 18 years old, and he lost to Nick Gwiazdowski, 3-3 and 4-4. And what did Gwiazdowski take third or fifth that year? I'm blanking.
He was fifth.
2019.
Fifth.
So that was when Gable was 18.
No, I know. Listen, I mean, I have been on the runaway freight train, hype train for Gable for years. I'm just trying to counterpoint myself, be like, yeah, I get why some people may think I'm rushing to the end, but I've been rushing to the end since his junior, senior year. Like this is gonna be the next guy at heavyweight. So yeah, he's ridiculous, and I can't wait to watch him. And the questions: how many golds do we get in Tokyo on the men's freestyle side? I feel like he and Dake and Taylor are our best three shots if I had to pick three.
So how many people do you think can beat Kyle Snyder? Because it can't be very many. I know he's lost to.
There's at least three. Sajalayev, Mohammedian, and
Mohammedian's good.
Sharifov.
Oh, man. Do we know what the seating's going to be at that? Well, I saw that Nomad posted that Taylor's.
Yeah.
Just heads up.
That guy's going to qualify if he goes and doesn't test positive.
Yeah, that's going to be that's the ultimate test for him.
He lost to somebody in Iran. It's down to him and someone else, Kozak was telling us.
Who's beating that guy? He just decimated Bo and Kyle back to back in ways
that was crazy.
It made no sense. But yeah, certainly there's those three. And if there's a guy that's beaten Mohammedian and Iran, then that guy can potentially beat Kyle Snyder. Now, Kyle Snyder can.
Mohammedian didn't he 10-0 Kyle?
He either 10-0'd him or pinned him.
He ended up pinning him.
I think he was up 10-0 and pinned him.
So yeah, Kozak said Mohammedian has a loss to Shabani, who Snyder has a win over.
Hold on, here's the match.
Sharifov's only 32. How's that? They're lying. They're lying, aren't they? They ain't right.
Might be right. He was up
8-0. He won a bronze at the World Championship 2009. He would have been 18 years old.
It's possible. So yeah, wow. Snyder was down 8-0 at the time of the fall.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Major G's, Major Louise. So, yeah, I don't. It's gonna be tough for him to win gold. I mean, it was gonna be tough for J'den, obviously, to win it too. It's a tough one.
Yes.
Okay. Dude, let's go with the other weights. We're bouncing around. That's okay. 65 was a major story because everyone thought Yanni Zane.
Yeah. I got something I'd like to say about that. Hey, bring the close up here.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Elitist Snob Ben told me I'm not allowed to make picks.
Mm-hmm. He did.
I went and made a pick. The only one who made the right pick. All you fools picked Yanni. I'm the only one who picked Jo. So apologies, Ben.
Yeah, you nailed it, Ollie. And that was
that didn't sound like an apology.
You know what?
Though.
I think Jo beating Oliver was more likely. What if you said that McKenna and Nick Lee beat Zane? I would have told you were on drugs for sure.
100%. I would have just handed you a cup. I said, pee in this. I'll come back with the results soon. Very, very.
I don't need results. You're positive.
You're on drugs. That's it. That is the positive test. The fact that you would say that. Yeah, I mean, the idea that Zane and Yanni not only didn't make the finals, that neither are even on the national team is insane. And the whole time I was watching the McKenna match, it's me and Mike, and we're watching, and I'm just like, Zane is going to win this. I know he's losing right now, but he's going to get the takedown late. It just felt like it was going to happen, and it just didn't happen. Joey was just straight up better. And Ben, you definitely know better than me, but Zane kept getting to the single leg, and he kept scooping the ankle, and that feels like an inevitable finish for like everyone in wrestling. Yet he kept getting 2 and 2'd on 2 different occasions from that position. What was Joey doing that he was able to expose? Because once the ankle's trapped, isn't it kind of over?
Yeah, I mean, Joey was generating a lot of power for that position. I don't know if I say over, but yeah, to your point, once you get the ankle, most likely you're going to go score.
Yeah. So the fact that Zane wasn't able to convert on those 2, and then he gets the late little drag go behind. I mean, Joey McKenna was on fire. I mean, it was a great win, and it was one of those. He looked great against James Green, but you're like, man, he looked really good, and then you're like, but it's 65 James Green, so you were kind of like making the excuse, well, he looked good because James is too small, or too big, I guess, in this case. But then he beats Zane. You're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And Yanni Jo was one of the best matches. Joey versus Zane was one of the best matches. Bo versus Heath.
I can't believe Yanni didn't try going either kick out or quad pod on that last push out, because the last push out was probably with like 6 seconds left or something to that effect. It wasn't very long. And he kind of was in like that where he picked up the single leg, but Yanni's knee was pointed down. And obviously at that point, it didn't matter whether he gave up 1 or he gave up 2. Either one he gives up, he's losing. I can't believe he didn't try kicking back to center, going quad pod, going hurt turtle shell, something to that effect. I was really shocked that he got pushed out there.
Well, and the other thing is his foot was so high in the air, and we've seen him. I think he had a lot of confidence, not a lot of confidence, but he kind of believed in himself from that position. We've seen him get step outs against Frank Molinaro from that very position when his foot's up in the air. He's got that freaky Dake feel, right? And Jo just knew which way to go, and he made it look really simple on the step out. He made something that is not simple.
I'm even thinking like right as soon as Jo comes to his feet is kind of where I'm thinking that Yanni should have taken a different action. And well, either like I said, kick away, like create a scramble. You only got to. It's not like you got to score a takedown. You got to waste 10 seconds, right? Mm-hmm. And again, the 1 or the 2, it's kind of irrelevant because you're losing it on both accounts.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So much has been made of age, and this is a young man's thing, and this and that. And for David and Jo and Dake, making their first Olympic teams, and for JO's case, his first senior level team at this age is probably like, I was looking back at an article I wrote in it was like 2012, where I said JO's the future of this weight class, and that's like,
look at time traveler Christian.
Yeah, it's like 10 years ago. It's at that point you're just like, well, it's just not going to happen, right? I mean, Yanni's coming, Zane's here. If you haven't made it by 2019, it's not going to happen. But he stayed the course, and I kind of wondered after 2016, is Jo just going to transition to MMA and just do that thing? And then he stuck with it. He persevered, and he got it done. And there's a lot of people that kind of jumped off that train through the years, including me. I was on it. For Jo, for him being the future, and then after it didn't happen for a while, at some point you have to say, okay, it's probably not going to happen, and then boom.
Well, the other thing, Christian, he still's got to qualify the weight. The only men's freestyle that does, and it's not going to necessarily be easy. Obviously, he can do it. There's, he's beaten some really, really high level guys, but there are some tough matches for him.
Yes, that's true. I feel good about it. I feel confident he's going to get the weight qualified. I like the momentum of him coming after trials. I like the style matchup he's going to bring. It's going to be a new look. So I think we're going to be in good hands. I think we'll get that weight qualified. And I do think we'll get 130 qualified in Greco. I'm not sure about 77. I think that's going to be very uphill. Now, so that's 65. Any other thoughts on 65? I mean, Nick Lee was a major story.
Yeah, where did Nick Lee come from? Because it's like Nick Lee, he just lost to Ironman 6 weeks ago or so, somewhere around there. He had the overtime match with Sebastian. I didn't really see this coming. I was shocked when it happened. He beat Zane and Yanni back to back. So crazy. And other people too. But those two, I mean, I guess obviously we would think we're 1 and 2 in that weight class.
I feel like as a combination of he was on fire on the backside, Yanni and Zane's hearts were, not everyone can just recover for that next match. So it's a little bit of Nick Lee, had it going. He looked really good. Zane and Yanni not feeling the best, and he wanted it. He wanted it bad. I mean, he was super offensive, and I mean, he looked amazing. He did what Zane did 4 years ago or 5 years ago now, and Zane was feeling it. He had all this momentum. He's a great college wrestler. He had lost early, and man, he outplaced how many legends to get third, and then the weight was his for a couple of years. So
how old is Zane? Is he hanging it up? Does he? He probably goes. No, he's super young.
No
actually,
way.
25. He probably goes up to 70 though for the Well, I guess Jordan would have to medal, otherwise he would get in the wrestle off at 65. But I've also heard he's really big, so maybe he just goes up to 70.
I think he is big, but I don't know if he goes up. I can kind of see him trying, especially if Jo doesn't medal, which this could be tough for Jo to medal. I think he can for sure, but it's a tough weight. We haven't medaled there since the statistics say it's unlikely that Jordan's gonna get an Olympic medal. Just how good that weight is and how we've struggled there historically. So, but so for that reason, I'm saying I think Zane's got to have his eyes on 65 and getting back in that spot. I'm sure Yanni will similarly. Okay, so that's 65. 57, no Soriano, no Spencer Lee. Thomas Gilman stands alone. He really left no doubt. He was pretty undeniable. Yes. A couple of the big storylines there were, one, the Gross Cologne match. Did you watch this one, Ben?
Yes. We're going to talk about the end 2-point call, or we're going to talk about the 4-point call on the edge?
Well, I think both. It's our show, our rules, I say.
So I thought it was 4 on the edge because Cologne's feet were almost in on that one, and they let people go 27 feet off the mat sometimes.
Well, the contention from the Gross corner is the whistle blew, which I heard it as well. So I thought they blew the whistle for a step out. Yeah, so I was watching. I was kind of glued to that match, and they did blow the whistle. And it wasn't like another mat. It was on that mat. So I think that's what they were challenging because Gross maybe relaxed on the edge as a result of that, but you don't relax on the edge. So that made it.
You would never, yeah. I mean, why would you ever relax on the edge in freestyle when guys are driving people 27 feet off the mat?
Fair. Now the crazy thing was Gross definitely exposed Cologne at the end there.
I thought it was going to be 2.
I didn't even think it was like super debatable. He didn't have a takedown. He had exposure, and I thought it was sort of clear, but they didn't have the brick. And
I didn't think it was clear. I thought I would have probably given 2. I thought it was like it wasn't like a 100% zero situation. It was probably like, for me, a 70-30. Like I thought it was probably more likely that he gets the exposure than he doesn't. But Cologne is so flexible that his back was kind of like sitting up a little bit, even though like the lower part of his back was definitely exposed. You know what I'm saying? Like he was really like rounded over. So I would have said 2, but I could see where the refs were at.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen pictures that are very.
I wish we could watch video right now.
That would help. Certainly, yeah.
That would help.
Here's a picture, and I think it'll maybe change your mind. I'm gonna put it.
Well, I said I would have called 2.
Yeah. But I think it will remove any doubt if I had to guess. Here it comes. I'm putting it in the Slack there, Tyler. If you can pull it up whenever. So yeah, that was crazy. Then Vito, he comes out like a ball of fire against Dayton and gets up like 6-0 or something like that. He's just living on his legs. And then a switch flipped for both guys seemingly, where Vito went into this like protection mode and Dayton got super, he turned up, and we know Dayton can really sprint like no other. And Vito almost lost this match. I mean, it was not 2 at the end, but Dayton got the rear standing quad pod right as time expires. Now look at this picture, Ben. That to me is can you see it?
Yeah. So I mean that looks like 2. I would have probably called 2. That's so you see how his back is like really rounded up, and that's kind of what the refs are looking at. And the other thing that
90 degrees. I mean, he's at 45 there. 90 degrees is.
But they let people go way past 90 degrees in the chest wrap situation. And the other thing the picture can't tell. And listen, so I'm saying I would have given 2 points for sure. I said that. But obviously, if say Cologne is leaning back and trying a chest wrap and he doesn't get it, they're not giving 2 points to the other guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes.
So if you exposed yourself, and so that's why I'm saying I wish we had video right now. I think I was going to go 2 points gross. The other one that actually, I think the worst one that round, and went the other way was Evan Wick. I remember. The Gant match, they threw the brick. I started watching another match because I said, there's no way they're getting 2 points on that one. And Wick got 2 points for the win. You guys remember that one or no?
Yeah.
So I wasn't watching that match, and I couldn't go back and see it either. So I missed it. Yeah.
You mean NBC's not putting the replays of all the matches up in a convenient fashion?
I have not seen them yet.
That was good sarcasm, Ben.
Yeah.
Listen, we made an hour into the show and I didn't even bitch about the broadcast yet.
That is great. That's impressive.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I obviously had the benefit of being there, and so I didn't get to keep up with the coverage. But I saw Twitter. Twitter was not pleased.
Twitter was Twitter.
Oh, so Christian, it was so annoying because you had to watch. You had to have a bunch of you have to watch track, and then you had to They wouldn't just do like, hey, freestyle's on mat 1, Greco's on mat 2, women's is on mat 3.
But that to me is not NBC's fault. I mean, why are we just?
That's USA Wrestling.
It was totally harem scarum how they were doing it. It was like 4 mats, 3 mats, 2 mats, 1 mats, Greco over here, freestyle over here, women's freestyle over here. It was like
and then it was like not in weight order. It would be like 125 and then 65, and then you're just like, what is going on here?
I don't know why they didn't just have a men's freestyle mat, a women's freestyle mat, and a Greco mat, and run them up and down and do it that way.
Go the lightest weight class and the heaviest weight class. It would have been really simple and really easy. That was so frustrating to have to switch around. And then, they had 3 different streaming platforms that did them. So you had to figure out which streaming
3?
platform was for which session and for which mat specifically.
What were the 3? Peacock?
NBC
Yeah,
Sports
they had
Network, Peacock, and then for the finals, if you wanted to watch the other match, you had to go to NBCSN.com.
Okay. Holy cow.
Yeah. So, very, very frustrating coverage. And then to your point, you couldn't go back and watch a replay. And so obviously, like, some of these, you have 2 mats going at the same time that you want to watch both of them. And there's not a split screen feature. And I don't have 2 laptops, unfortunately. And so you have to pick, hey, I'm going to watch mat 2 with this mat. And so, hey, well, maybe that one it's up 6-0. Okay, I'll go click and watch the other one for a minute. It's like super annoying.
Yeah. One, I think you should start saving up for that laptop.
So I should get 2 laptops.
You should get 2 laptops, or
Seems excessive.
or just get a screen. All you don't actually need another laptop. You just buy one of those little monitors and just HDMI it up. But yeah, it was. I'm sure it was frustrating and tough, and I wonder if could they make it 3 days and do it like that? Would that maybe help? And because it did seem.
Honestly,
go ahead.
They could also do split sessions too. Like, right now is the Greco session, 9 a.m. We're gonna run that quick for an hour and a half, and then freestyle and the women's freestyle. They could do it per mat, and then they could go from smallest weight class to highest weight class. That would make more sense. They could use a platform like Flow where you can watch dual screens at the same time. That would make a lot of sense. It was not ideal to watch from home.
Yeah. Well,
sorry. Hey,
go ahead.
about Gilman again, though. We stopped talking about Gilman because that was Kyle's fault. He got me going on the streaming issues.
You got yourself going.
I said you were being good.
Gilman, he looked great, but I couldn't believe, we've seen Gilman kind of blow a few matches before. His strategy in the second match versus Vito was so annoying to me. In the first match versus Vito gets up big, and then Gilman puts the heat on him, and Vito couldn't deal with it. And he ends up pinning him, but he was up by a gigantic amount of points at the time he pinned him. Why didn't he just put the heat on him again? Vito couldn't handle the heat. Just put the heat on him.
I don't know. Maybe he thought he just wanted to wrestle a more controlled match, control the hand fight where the match was taking place, and just win a little more.
But it came down to the wire.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of felt like Gilman was really not super threatened in that second match. I don't know why.
Christian, when the score's 2-2, you got to feel a little bit threatened because one little slip up, and that's the match. I mean, think about the slip up he had at Matteo Pellicone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was maybe not the best tactics, but I don't know. Who knows what he's feeling in that moment, like how he's feeling Vito, or maybe he's feeling like Vito doesn't have it anymore. He's tired, or he took too much out of him in the first match. I don't know. But I thought Gilman was the clear guy at the end of it, and I kind of didn't think it would be him coming into it, because I thought there were going to be different guys in the field, and then but he navigated it. He's the man, and we're qualified, so that's good.
Yes.
He came out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. The dude,
yeah, why did that person say that? What was that all about?
It was hilarious. I mean, well, listen, you've got people that are at this tournament that don't know what's going on or don't know what they're seeing. They don't follow the sport. So if you don't follow the sport, I guess everyone came out of nowhere. Or it was one of those guys that already had his headline written, that he had the article already written. He just needed to get the quotes into it. I don't understand who this person was or why. If you don't know what we're talking about, immediately after, the guy that's interviewing Gilman says, "So you really came out of nowhere." And Gilman was like, classic Gilman. He's like, well, I don't know, coming out of nowhere. I've been here since 2017. I was a world silver medal. I qualified the weight for the Olympics. I've been on the team. I was in the finals in 2019 and went to 3 matches, lost to Dayton Fix. So I was the #1 seed here. I don't know, maybe came out of nowhere. Then the guy's like, and it was funny because Gilman was like, sort of like, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but at the same, I was like, no, Gilman, these are the things you should absolutely say. And then the guy's like, well, what I meant was, no one knows who you are. And then I was like, wait,
What?
That's what.
it's what that was like his follow up. He's like, well, what I mean, no one really knows who you are. He's like, okay, man, this guy was like the face of the program at Iowa. He was the most discussed wrestler throughout his probably last 2 years of college. He's a world silver medalist. It's like everyone knows who Thomas Gilman is. What, you're the only one that doesn't know, which maybe means you shouldn't be asking questions.
There's a documentary film on him.
I know. There's plenty of information about Thomas Gilman, just not available for that guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I don't know who hired him. He should be fired.
Yeah.
Whoa. We'll talk about another man's job.
Talking about another man's job right
That's
now.
what Ben does. He fires people.
He fires. He's a big fired guy.
Big fire guy, big rules hater. Doesn't show me my respect. Didn't apologize. Don't think I.
Listen, I said great job on the pick, and you know Christian's a rules guy. I know Kyle was a rules guy too.
Yeah, you are. All right, I'll say
How am
this
I a
though.
rules guy?
Wait. I'll say this.
Listen,
it has nothing
Christian's
to do with
the
this
guy in the
scenario.
office.
But CP does
let me
like
ask you a
rules.
question.
What's up?
If like you're messing around doing something you shouldn't do on the snack bar, Christian will probably come up and yell at you, won't he?
No.
You don't
I'll
clean
say
up your
this
plate?
though. I'll say this. If like me, I don't want to name names, but me and some of my friends are doing some stuff that we know is bad, like if CP were to see, he wouldn't yell at us, but he'd be like, "You guys shouldn't do that," or "That's bad," something like that.
When have I ever told you not to do something?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't do any of my bad stuff in front of you.
See, I don't. Yeah.
Maybe I'll do one of the bad things and see
I
what you
would
say.
bet money I have more traffic violations than all of you guys combined.
That's true.
That's true for me. Yeah.
Rebel, not me.
Oh.
I got so many.
How many? How many tickets do you think you got?
20s or 30s, probably.
Okay, well, maybe not. You might have.
Well.
You have 20 or 30 traffic violations?
Yeah, probably. I mean, unless I've been driving for 20 years now. Oh, at least that many. Yeah, I've been driving for 20 years.
Yo, my career I was off to a hot start. I was like Gable Steveson on the road. I was racking up all kinds of hardware early. I've done a little better since moving to Texas. Anyway, let's keep moving. David Taylor makes the team, as mentioned before. He was utterly dominant. I think there's a couple stories out of there. One, Zahid Bo was the best
Amazing.
match of that
Awesome.
bracket.
Yeah.
That was a freaking fire match. I mean, they're back and forth, and Zahid's losing late, and he gets in on the shot, beautiful shot. It's like textbook. And Bo just does his Bo stuff. He reached back with the chin whip, and he elevates with the foot, pops him over for, I think he got 4. And he spanks him repeatedly. And
Yeah, he
he's
spanked
the winner.
him.
He spanked him.
He definitely spanked him.
He spanked him on.
You
on
talk
the-
about rules.
He slapped him on the
Andrew
bottom.
Spey wants a rule that you can't slap somebody's butt. You
Yeah.
can't
He's like,
spank
you can't
people.
spank
He
people.
was all out on the
He
butt
wants
slap.
he wanted a caution and one against.
He's
Bo.
like, you can't spank people.
That's the rules guy right there.
He was like, and then we were like, "What's the big deal?
But
Like, what do you mean?"
we were all like, I don't understand what the big deal is. You
Yeah.
smacked him on the
And he
butt.
was
He
just
said,
like-
hey, time's out. Good job, bud.
What? There's no rules. You can't smack people on the butt. He couldn't get it. Like it was breaking his brain
He
that
said
we
it's
didn't agree with him.
unsportsmanlike conduct. Caution and
Like,
one.
you can't spank people.
Now,
Oh
as
my
a man
God.
in his situation or position, I could see not wanting bottoms to be smacked.
Yeah. He has a lot of haunch power.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Spankgate aside, that match was
Awesome.
freaking fantastic. And Bo took out Zahid. I mean, we thought. Listen, I thought Zahid was gonna make the finals. I thought he might take a match from David, and he was not that guy that I thought he might be. But David, you wonder about the practice room familiarity. He had all the answers for Bo. I mean, Bo really didn't seem to get close to anything generated, and it wasn't. It didn't seem like two boys at the end of it. It was very much Bo
They did not like each other.
No, well, I don't know about that, but Bo wasn't.
No, what do
about,
you mean? Did you see the way Bo stormed off the mat?
Well, you know,
There's heat.
There's heat for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone knows about what happened in 2019 with their whole scenario. So yeah, I mean, I understand, and they're super competitive, and it's not like Nick and Zane shared a bro hug at the end either. It's, you know,
yeah,
winning is the business there. That's the thing. It's of zero. Only one of them can win. So while you want to get better together, it's a weird thing, and you know, yeah, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Hey, I just clicked on something in Twitter, and it's you guys have a senior will not or will return list, which is tremendous.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle Brecky, for that. Jesse Delvecchia is not returning?
He's not returning.
Oh, my gosh.
Really?
I think it'd be like his
Hayden
sixth
Hively's
year.
Bumping to 174? Is that for real? Or is that a joke?
That's real.
Ben, where have you been?
You must
you
have
been?
missed the next show we did after he announced that.
Were you not
I
on that
must have
show?
missed it.
There was a Thursday.
I was not. I must
missed.
not have been on the show.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, no, he's bumping to 74.
Wow, crazy.
He did
Because he's wrestled 154 in freestyle stuff.
Yes.
He talked about
Wow.
how tough. He did a podcast like announcing his decision, and I didn't realize it was such a tough cut for him. But he talked pretty in depth about how tough 57 was for him. And then obviously they had a good 65, so it made sense for him to go 57. But Tariq's going up to 49 too for NC State.
Wow.
So they're all like the majority of the NC State guys are coming back, and they're just getting swole. Apparently.
They're just getting swole. Nick Renan's also coming back.
And the 74 Bullard. No,
And
wait. No, 65 Bullard, because 74 would be Hayden. Thomas Bullard's coming back.
He just graduated.
Daniel's
He's like,
not.
this Bullard, you graduate. Go fill out your LinkedIn. He sent one guy straight to LinkedIn.
One of them's married. I think
Yeah.
it's Daniel, the one that All-American to 74. So now Hayden will move up there.
and
Tariq to 49.
he'll
Nick
begin his
Renan's
career.
back, so him and Trumbull will fight for the spot again, I guess.
Ooh, man,
Interesting.
that will be interesting.
I don't think there's been a ton of surprises on the list. I've been hitting up coaches and wrestlers. I did that mostly all day yesterday, and some of the guys had already put it out on social media. But more people are returning than I thought after watching Instant A's.
We
There's
gotta
a lot
find
that are
out.
undecided on your list.
Yeah, I either just haven't heard from them yet, or they aren't decided. It sounds like the service academies will not be able to take advantage of this, so that stinks. There were like, I think 4 guys from Navy, 3 from Army, and 1 from Air Force.
What about? I think you should just take this week and just figure out what Kimmer's doing, and just that's all we need.
Okay,
You do
Deep
that.
dive on that.
I'll
Do a
go
deep
to
dive.
Iowa City.
Go
Try to
there.
figure it out.
Well,
Let's get that investigative report going. What do
Yeah.
you need?
gotcha journalism.
He's
Yeah.
definitely the biggest one still out there that hasn't made a decision.
Right. Also, rumor mill stuff from the trials. Okay, here's the latest.
Uh-oh.
Shane Griffith
Oh,
down to UNC in Michigan. Okay, sounds like
no Penn State, as we predicted.
Listen.
because
Plot thickens.
he's going up to 174.
Ooh.
Okay,
That was a great ooh from Ben Askren. Ooh.
which also means that I guess Logan
So,
Massa
what-
is gonna be graduated. He's getting his LinkedIn on, getting his freestyle on.
Kyle does not have that one filled in.
What? Logan well, yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten it confirmed.
Yeah, we
Or
got.
if he wants to come back and maybe change weights, or I don't know,
Yeah,
go
Okay.
84.
it's his life. It's now or never.
Interesting. What
So-
other rumors you got?
So, Makai Lewis up to 174.
Whoa.
So-
74 is going to be fire.
174 could be
Possibly.
absolutely fire. Now,
Perhaps 3 national champions in it.
perhaps, plus Kimmer, and other really good wrestlers. Now, this is rumor mill. It's very good sources, so I feel good about saying them. And we'll see what's decided with Griffith. but obviously he's a game changer for Michigan if he can go there, and for the ACC if they get UNC can probably enter that top 2 tier with someone as good as Griffith at wrestling for them. Although NC State is going to be so good next year.
And Michigan's getting Brucky also. And then what about Real Woods? Any rumors on him?
No, I haven't heard a thing about him.
Nothing. He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that was just some fun rumor mill stuff. Talk about a little bit with the women's trials. I thought the Helen Maroulis, Jenna Burkett best of 3
was
was
an awesome series.
Freaking fantastic. All 3 matches were, well, the first 2 matches were amazing, and then just the insanity of a 1-second foot sweep to the fall for Helen. And the thing that was most impressive about that to me is, for whatever reason, I've noticed it, like, even though freestyle pins are kind of easier to get, we just seem to have a harder time just keeping wrestlers there on their backs when they get there. For Helen to be able to like get her on her back and just like seize the moment and reverse half and work to the fall, that's insane. I thought that was super, super impressive. Your thoughts, Ben and Kyle?
I kind of got into the Jenna Burkett story. You know, her mom passed recently, and she wrestled her butt off. And even in match 1, I think she was winning relatively late and was looking really good. And Helen came back and won. And then, you know, that was just so clutch of Helen right off the bat. Overtime slide by the foot sweep right to her back, and then buried her.
Yeah. And obviously that was an emotional moment with Jenna.
It was tough to watch.
It was tough.
Yes.
And you see the human side of, you know, Helen, and you know, obviously she was so happy she won, and then the elation she feels, and then like, you know, the empathy for Jenna and her situation. Jenna beat, the thing about Jenna's tournament, she beat Allie Reagan, right? Which I did not expect. Allie Reagan had destroyed her in previous meetings, and then she taking one from Helen is impressive in itself.
She almost beat her the first time.
Yes,
and then she does beat her, and they wrestled. They had all 3 of those ladies had a wrestle off last year to determine who would go to Pan Am's to try to qualify the weight, and Helen won, and she pinned Jenna twice in the best 2 out of 3 after beating Allie. So it's pretty crazy.
I
think the other thing was that the high school girls making the trials finals, but then one of the things that is apparent, and this was a few Greco weights also, and really I guess you could say this happened at heavyweight men's freestyle, but we didn't see it coming, was just the gap between number 1 and number 2 in America. Like those 2 68 and 76 between Tamira and Adeline weren't really competitive. That happened at some Greco weights, and then obviously like Gwiz got killed by Gable. And I don't necessarily know if I feel the same way, but just the gap between 1 and 2 in America, it's funny how wide it is some places, and then how close it is, like Dake Burroughs, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Welker bumping up. I think a couple things about Welker. One, she was second at Last Chance, bumps up a weight class, and makes it to the finals. Says 2 things. One, Kylie Welker's really, really good. And 2, other than Adeline, we're not super deep at 76 kilograms domestically. For someone that small to give up that kind of weight and just go and make the finals. And really, I feel like, I can't remember her path, but she was mostly dominant throughout. She
had a close one with Victoria Francis.
Yes.
But Victoria Francis wrestled for a medal before.
Right.
Same to Kennedy Blades. I think she like kind of killed everyone, and then right, and she wasn't super competitive with Tamira, which she's young, but again, that shows the gap between 1 and 2.
We tried to tell you about Kylie Welker.
Well, dude, I've seen Kylie Welker wrestle since she was like 9 years old.
No, you haven't.
I have. I swear.
Um,
but I guess I would say I didn't realize she was that good. I don't think she's wrestled with the boys in a few. Like, I don't believe she participated in the high school boys season. So I haven't really seen her in quite a while.
Yeah, and Kennedy, man, when she got the first takedown on Tamira, I was like, oh my gosh, my mind went crazy. I'm like, she's gonna do it. She's just on another level. But Tamira got it all together and won and left no doubt, really. But man, she was just so impressive throughout. But Tamira proved she's a rung above. But man, how long are our current, placeholders going to be able to hold off the Kennedys and the Welkers? Because I think there's a youth movement. And Elor, this is funny, Emmett Elor, she is too young to wrestle in the Olympic trials by 2 hours.
What?
She's born on January 1st.
Dang.
And like early in the morning. And if she'd been born December 31st, she'd have been old enough to compete. So keep an eye out for her, because she's gonna try to make the cadet and junior world teams this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see also if they're so young, if they outgrow those weight class. If they both end up at 76, that's probably a decent guess, because most people are still growing at age 17.
Right. So exciting times for women's wrestling, and there's a lot of excitement about the prospects of Team USA ladies and how they're going to do in Tokyo. And I think I always leave the trials so fired about the prospects of our team, and I talk myself in all kinds of medals for mittens and women's freestyle. And I think this is probably our best Olympic women's team ever. That being said, the Team Japan, and I think you're going to learn a lot about how good the world is at wrestling in the women's level. Well, I think we're going to come home with some hardware, including some gold medals. There's an uphill battle against Team Japan, just like Team USA's got an uphill battle against Russia on the men's freestyle side.
It's even
really, so I feel like we're going to get a bunch of medals in women's freestyle.
It's even
I think
more lopsided in women's freestyle with Japan.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's
So 4 medals? You think
men's with Russia.
You think 4? 4 is going to be
4 in women's freestyle?
I think the over under is 3.5 total medals for women's freestyle. I think it's going to be tough I think Adeline and Tamira are basically, but people are forgetting Adeline was in the exact same position against the exact same field basically, and DMP'd.
She was like a lock, yeah.
She was a lock. And she did not.
But there's been other years where she's won it, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like every other year. And that's why she was a favorite going to the Olympics. That's what he's saying. It's like you don't know what's going to happen.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
And that's what I said.
That's what he's saying.
So those two, I do feel good about them winning gold. Helen, you got to feel good about medaling. Although, is she as good as she was in 2016? I don't think so. I think that she dethroned the GOAT that year. So I don't know if she's at that level. If she lost to Jenna, Jenna was wrestling great, but I don't think people would pick Jenna to medal at this weight class, right, internationally. I think the data would kind of bear that out. So, it's not maybe the best talent. I think Sarah Hildebrand is going to medal, but that is a super deep weight. I think she looks fantastic, but that is a really, really deep weight. I think Jakara's got a good shot as well. I don't know. I feel great about the team. It could be our best Olympics ever for women's freestyle. It should be.
I think so.
But I think you're also going to be reminded how good the world is, just like we're going to learn the same with women's freestyle, or men's freestyle, excuse me. Okay.
Yes.
Man, it's 9:39. I don't know if we're going to have time for we didn't even I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface of the trials, and we've got a bunch of questions as well.
We're going to the bracket. Dig into the brackets tomorrow?
Yeah, why don't we answer this question? Who was the OW of the Olympic trials?
So,
the one that didn't win, or the one that won?
It's funny you guys you make that joke, Ollie, because someone immediately in the chat on during the watch party was like, Nick Lee has to have some consideration here for OW.
Stop.
JD said it.
They don't.
J.O. smashed him.
I know.
Bro, he didn't win. You can't win OW if you don't win. Stop.
You can't win
It's
OW if you're not even the most
Gable, and it's not
OW
really all that close.
in your bracket.
I think it is Gable. I think Gable's
Gable.
OW.
And just to give, I don't want to throw JD under the bus. He said he's having a great tournament. He didn't really say it, but he said something like,
No, throw him. You already threw it. Throw it in reverse now.
No. I stopped the bus like a superhero, and I picked him up from under the bus, and I let the bus go.
Yes.
Guys, it's Gable. It's not close.
What about Kyle Dake?
Hey, no, Gable. Speaking of that, I still don't have the damn votes from Win Magazine. I'm sending another email.
You're never going to get
Now you guys
them.
made me think of it. It got me all mad.
You are never going to get them.
Listen, they need to have
persistent.
some transparency in their process. The fact that I asked for it was Tuesday. It was last week on this show. I emailed, said, give me the damn votes, and I still don't have the votes.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to
No
get them.
respect.
Yeah, you're not going to
You're
get
not
them. I
getting no
love that
respect.
you're on them about it, but you're just never going to get them.
Wrestling's watchdog, Ben Askren.
Oh, we need what's his name, Carl Monday. On
Oh
this.
yeah, tell about Carl Monday real quick.
I think we've talked about Carl Monday on here.
We've talked about Carl Monday.
Cleveland's watchdog.
Yeah, this dude, he busts all these people around Cleveland who don't do their jobs.
You are so screwed. I'm gonna get Carl Monday on this.
Oh, here comes bad case of the Mondays.
Someone wants to know the name of the committee. Someone wants names of the members of the committee
What committee?
that voted to not let J'den into the trials. It's
What they gonna do?
just
A lot
USA.
of Jaden questions in there.
Yes, quite a
The
few.
majority of them are Gable questions.
Some of them.
I feel like we've hit.
Someone wants to know if the time zone had an impact. I mean, if it did, so help me. No, it didn't have an effect because they thought they were from 8 to 8:30, and they were from 7:30 to 8. So that's not a time zone because there's no half-hour time zones that I'm aware of. So no, I don't think it's that.
A few people asked, and I thought this was interesting, is who will each guy take as training partner?
Oh, okay. So let's predict. I bet Gilman takes like Roman or someone like that.
Yeah.
I think Jo will take Austin O'Connor.
That's who I thought of too, maybe.
I think Kyle will take Gabe Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Think
Yes.
David. Who will David take?
Aaron Brooks, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't think it's going to be Bo.
I was just gonna say. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe Kale, who's also his coach. I'm not sure.
Decent training partner.
Decent.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Decent.
Or maybe,
Yeah, I
maybe he
don't-
takes Casey Cunningham and Kale's the coach, something to that effect.
They need to listen. They need to go do the Jordan Burroughs playbook. Just use this as a recruit. Take Mark. He took Mark Hall. Who should they take for?
Dan
for
Dennis
recruit?
took Spencer Lee.
Dan Dennis took Spencer Lee. Gilman should take. Who's the best lightweight? They should take. I don't know. Anyways, Gable will probably
Hey,
take
Richie
Tony
Figueroa
Nelson.
lost at the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic again.
Yes, he
Speaking
did.
of good lightweights.
Yes,
There
he
were a
did.
couple upsets.
He's not on a heater this year.
No.
You wonder how much that is like California's hardly been able to do anything.
It sounds like this dude has been in training at Arizona State all the time.
Oh, really?
To
I
the
didn't
point
know that.
coaches are like, hey, can you look into how Richie Figueroa is getting to Arizona State every freaking weekend or whatever?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they want to be. I was like, hey, coach, how about you do your own investigating? I'm not gonna do that.
Or Monday, Carl Monday.
We're call Carl
Yeah,
Monday.
get
I'm
him,
not.
get Carl on the case.
Cleveland's watchdog. Maybe he can be Tempe's watchdog.
Yeah, get him on it.
America's watchdog.
Yeah. Despite all the one last question. Despite all the talk about J'den, don't you think Soriano has a much better argument for getting a special wrestle off? In a way, because I mean, no for both. I just don't see how you do it. You would have to re-wrestle the entire bracket. Okay, you can't just say, Soriano gets to wrestle Gilman in the finals. So I think neither have a great case, but at least Soriano did his thing. I don't know if he was sick or not, but getting tested out of the thing is, that's totally, I guess you could say, out of his control. But
Yes.
I don't think there's a great argument there.
Because he doesn't mean a tournament. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's what doesn't make sense. And Ben Askren is a rules guy, and so you can't just say the fact that, hey, this guy a month
There's
ago.
no way to do it logistically. It's impossible.
Well, it's possible. I mean, it's possible.
No, because you have to re-wrestle
Do we
the
really
tournament.
want
Doesn't make
something
sense
like-
'cause the match already happened?
Do we really want something like this get in the way of our best Olympic team, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, really? What were we trying to do here?
I like Ben smiling when he knows he's
knows.
getting trolled.
He's getting,
I'm getting trolled.
you're getting trolled a little bit. And hey,
Also, real quick before we go,
Yeah.
this came out while we were on the show. North Korea said not to the Olympics.
oh, okay.
What do you mean? They said they're not going?
Yeah.
Nah.
You weren't invited
Did they have
anyway.
anyone good enough to send anyways?
They usually have some
they
good
had-
lightweights.
2 women's freestyle wrestlers that were qualified.
Really?
So,
Yeah. Well,
Got it.
2019 world champion at 53 kilos, Young Mi Pak, and 2019 world 5th place, Jong Sim Rim.
there you have it.
I don't know why Kyle's saying the name of Korea.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
But
I
it
was
freaking
gonna-
killed
I
me.
was- yeah.
I don't know why it was so funny.
I was
Just hearing Kyle.
Oh, jeez.
I think it's-
I didn't think Kyle reading the name was funny. I thought Ben thinking that it was funny. Like he
Would
was
you like me
giggling
to
like
read
a
some
little
more?
kid.
Yeah, read one more North Korean name,
Well,
please.
I don't know if there are anymore, so I'll just say them again. Young Mi Pak,
Young Mi Pak.
um,
It's almost like a sentence.
Jong Sim Rim.
All right. Well, we'll miss North
we gotta
Korea.
go.
We gotta go.
Oh,
Thanks
we
so
gotta
much.
go.
We will be back tomorrow, which is Taco Tuesday. Something to be excited about.
Oh,
if you're here in
man.
Austin.
Wait, today's Tuesday.
Or Taco Wednesday. Yeah, we have free lunch Tuesday, Taco Wednesday. Sorry, I got that mixed up.
We didn't want to be like everybody else.
We don't want to give the wrong dates or times because that would be very bad and can have very adverse effects on your livelihood. So, thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday. Thanks so much for tuning in, all of you. Goodbye.